minimum très bon, produit variable, billard les produits variables, minimum variable, variable, billard est très grand, variable, maximum billard est variable, très variable, un bon produit variable, billard est maximum, billard est très variable, nombre de mecs désirent entrer léger, déraisonnablement, entrer dans l'entreprendre, sans avoir un plan, c'est malheureux, malheureusement.
BR Novel Series, Pro JRE Production, presents BR Novel Series, not for subscribers under the age of 16. The BR Novel Series, Season 1, Episode 1, Chapter 1, Bulk Requiem.
Once upon a time, there was a scientist named Professor Walterson who had a laboratory far away from the city, in the Mojave Desert, bounded by the Tehachapi Mountains to the northwest, the San Gabriel and San Bernardino Mountains on the south, and eastward to California's borders with Arizona and Nevada, a place far from human capitalism and civilization. He built an amazing laboratory equipped for scientific research and experimentation. For a scientist, he built himself a laboratory far away from towns and cities so he could be able to be in a quiet area, an area where there's no noise, far away from human civilization. A place where he could free his mind and meditate and during the day upgrade his educational skills, creativity, ability and always striving to come up with a new scientist method. Situated in an operational busy day, he suddenly heard a bustle on the door and a loud knock. The person screamed out loud, "Knock knock." "Professor Walterson, Professor Walterson." Professor Walterson responds, "Who's there?" The person on the door shouts, "Haps." "It's Haps, Professor," Professor Walterson asks. Followed by who? Haps says, "I'm alone, Professor Walterson." Professor Walterson opens the door and questions him, "What brings you in this secret area at this time looking so horrifying?" Haps says, "The uncivilized barbarians outside coming towards us from the western side." Professor Walterson goes outside to check what Haps is talking about. He saw 4 to 5 trucks coming near the laboratory with high speed, and the sand in the desert could not show their appearance properly as they're approaching with high speed. As it got close to the time of arriving in the professor's laboratory, Professor ran on top of the roof and one white truck frantically bumped into Professor Walterson's building and caused an explosion that messed up half of the building, and while the truck stopped moving inside the building, 2 trucks behind it bumped into it and blew the laboratory with objects and chemicals inside. The building shaked and dropped. The professor settling on the roof was not a good idea. The sight from the rooftop when the building is collapsing caused him to jump from the roof, almost injuring himself after dropping down from the roof afterwards. He rapidly took out his glasses that has the ability to flash with sudden heat with a green laser. And he struck the 2 remaining trucks that managed to park outside the laboratory into half and the trucks were not able to move again. Haps quickly rushed in the other side of the laboratory where the professor packs tools. And he scattered everything around and found a grinder and tested if it's working. As soon as the disc was spinning, he went back outside where the 2 trucks that had passengers parked. 4 men in suits came out of the truck and started coming towards Haps and Professor Walterson. All 4 men took out guns from their suit and began to shoot towards the side Professor and Haps were. They both instantly ducked, and the professor told Haps to think quickly. Haps decides to run behind the trucks. The shooters came from using the shortcut he found in hidden walls. While moving and ducking, the shooters were still shooting towards his direction. He eventually got behind the truck and used the grinder to open the door at the back of the truck and found guns packed inside the cargo. He chose 2 and started shooting back. The professor saw Hap's gun attack, distracting the shooters, and he took target at 2 victims with his glasses green laser and dropped the both of them like one stone, shooting 2 birds at the same time. Haps managed to drop the other 2 guys with shots coming from behind the truck. Both astonished with what just happened and how they had to get rid of those weak men to save their lives. The moment just got calm like nothing happened, and they both looked at the damaged laboratory building and were both caught up in the moment, flabbergasted at what just happened. Wondering if there's still man incarcerated inside the damaged building, they both decided to go inside and take a look at what is happening. 2 trucks had burnt bodies. The white truck that bumped into the building first had someone in the seat trying to constrict the door with his weak body, cause the door couldn't open. Haps goes to the truck door and opens it with the force of the shooting gun shots in the handle, and it swings open and the truck driver falls to the ground when the door opens. Haps saw him as the man they were chasing, cause he was the only white truck driver while the rest of the trucks was in green and brown in color. The remaining man was not wearing the same dressing code with him. He had a shirt and jeans. The man was looking injured with wounds all around his body from the accident and had a shirt written BR. Haps gathered cushions to lay him on the floor for him to get a bit of rest. By the next day, when he's able to talk, he will be able to question him with Professor Walterson. Haps gathered cushions to lay him on the floor for him to get a bit of rest. By the next day, when he's able to talk, he will be able to question him with Professor Walterson. Haps was the worker that helped the professor build the laboratory and had his own small room 5,000 meters away from the laboratory. And his main purpose was to report anything around the area whenever he notices something suspicious, and let the professor know what's going on when he's busy in the scientist operations center. Haps tried clearing things out of the building while waiting for the truck driver to be able to talk. The next morning, when the sun is reflecting in his face, the truck driver wakes up and tried to move around, but his body was painful, hence he was weeping with his head down, filled with regrets. Haps, while he fixing the building, he heard the sound of someone weeping. And he thought that it could be the driver and got in the room where he left him and saw him hurt on the floor with blood and tears. Haps decides to arrange a hot tub for him to clean the wound and refresh. After the truck driver went through that rejuvenation, they got him in a comfortable position where he was able to explain the true story of what happened, and how he found himself in the desert with trucks chasing after his truck. Professor Walterson and Haps gave him a hot cup of tea while he's laying in bed to explain, and he says, "My name is Bulk Requiem. I'm a owner of a record label called Requiem Records. 2 days ago I was from a festival performance in a stadium in Saudi Arabia. With my business partner Brooke Brass, we had a deal we had to settle after the show to export goods with 25 cargoes in 2 planes from Abu Dhabi to California. We were exporting expensive tech pieces that technology companies use in their manufacturing machines to process technology business materials. As soon as the technology material reaches the right field, and the right machines for it to be replaced whenever the material is old and about to get damaged. The owners of businesses in competitive market always buy those type of tech goods in advance, before they run out of stock. If you had to sell all the stock, it will be worth $3 billion. The deal was between my partner Brooke Brass and the 3 musketeers that go by the name of Gig, Rung and Vidyaara, 3 international businessmen. We managed to land in the California desert first and dropped 5 cargoes that will be parked in the warehouse in town, and those 5 cargoes did not have the technology stock. So it was not going in the destination of 20 cargoes that had stock. Instead, 4 cargoes had the collection of expensive guns, and the cargo has to be parked in a warehouse next to the area where the technology material stock will be placed. for security purposes, but they can't get in town with the 4 cargoes that have guns. The plan was to get there with only 20 cargoes that have no weapon, and the 4 cargoes with my truck will manage to come in town on the low. So they took 5 extra cargoes off in the desert and assemble it to be a truck on the road. Trucks that have guns load and will be dropped in the desert to find its way in town. As soon as they landed in the desert, one truck had the driver that will lead him to their destination. It was my white truck, and the 4 trucks had the musketeers guys to follow my lead. Brooke Brass went with the 2 planes and the 3 musketeers. My mission was to take the trucks in town. It would take us 4 days to find the city road with buildings if we take the right direction in the map. As we were on the road and stopped to get rest after 18 hours of driving, the 3 musketeers guys were 6, 2 passengers in 2 trucks and 1 passengers in 2 trucks. They all decided join together while I was in my truck, had a conversation to start shooting me inside the truck. They got near my truck and started shooting. I took a torch inside my truck and I lit the light in one of the shooters' face, ran to the driver's door and started the truck. I was able to start the truck when one missed his shot in a locked door, and I quickly took off, and that's how the 6-man began to chase me in the desert, and the truck led me in this laboratory building after 2 hours of being chased. Sir, I have to find my way back in town. If you could help, I'll give you 3% of the shares. I have 20% of the stock shares when we are done with selling it. I had a phone in my truck. Maybe if I find it, I will be able to get a hold of my business partner Brooke Brass, find out if he's still alive. Maybe this could be those evil musketeers' plan to bring us down and run away with the money.
Haps says I'll go and check it for you. Maybe with you'll be able to get a hold of your business partner and find out where he ended up. After Haps found the device in the truck, tried switching it on, but the device was not working.
The next day, Bulk Requiem woke up and decided to exercise his body outside to start recovering soon. He's still in pain after being injured in the accident. Having a slow morning workout while trying to figure out how he will get back on the road. The professor saw him struggling to move his body parts the normal way, and he told him it could take months to recover after that injury. You gonna have to come up with a plan before the guys you had business with come look for you and their assets, Bulk Requiem says. Damn, my truck is damaged. I had a studio and a living room set built inside it. I'm gonna have to find a way to rebuild my truck for it to be able to move again and fix everything back to the good condition it was in. And so after 100 days of being in the desert, Bulk Requiem was trying everything in his power to fix his truck. Professor saw how he was trying hard and decided to call him, sit him down and tell him a little secret about humans with superpower projects. Professor Walterson asked him if he knew anything about supernatural PFT mug item projects forwarded to master users' goods. Bulk Requiem says, I have no idea of what you are talking about. Professor Walterson says, you see, I'm talking about a supernatural item that is difficult to find. Some people may have heard about it or have witnessed its presence in a season where they find the person who found it using it. It's an item that as soon as you find it, you'll have your superpower in a unique way, manifesting your career superpower in an unbelievable way. It's an outstanding, extraordinary and excellent experience to find it. Once you do, it will help you solve your problems quickly wherever you are. I found mine in the first dam next to the desert located by the east in one of the earliest days I had built the laboratory with Haps. It was one tiny shiny stone in green, the last piece that grew underwater on that year. I took that green shiny stone piece and swallowed it with TRHG liquid to soften it up, and the next day I woke up with new spectacle in my hand that examines my environment and release a green hot laser whenever I'm angry, and wearing 'em as soon as I close my eyes it shoots. It responds with my anger emotions and the gesture of closing my eyes, and just like that the supernatural item is doing incredible works. An unbelievable item and the possibility it wonderfully perform. Every year I go, but I don't find it again. It's been 12 years I haven't found one every time I go there. I was trying to get one for Haps but didn't find yet. Even in the only dam of the desert, I had to go a month after the laboratory exploded, but rebuilding it made me reschedule the date. Soon Haps and I will have to go hunt for it again. You saw the 2 trucks of your transgressors. The 2 trucks that got split apart was because of the glass's green laser I used to strike. Bulk Requiem says, "Whoa, I was still trying to figure how those trucks got that split. You telling me it's a glasses you wear that did that?" Professor goes inside the laboratory to fetch the glasses, brings it where they were sitting and tested the glasses laser on a chair in low pressure. The chair effortlessly splits apart. Bulk Requiem shouts, "Wow! I didn't know glasses could do that." Professor Walterson says, "Well, the supernatural PFT mug item does. I used to read about it in my father's laboratory when I was young on how it grows on our planet once in a while, and usually as soon as it is born on Earth, the Asian get a hold of it first. 'Cause they're able to dictate where it is, and goes to fetch the harvest. When it's birthed on planet Earth, it can come from water, volcanoes, earthquakes and natural disasters areas. If I had to take a journey to the dam, it will take me 3 days to arrive and hunt to see if I can still find a piece of PFT mug item. The day I'm ready to go. If you're still around trying to fix your truck, we could go. I think it could be the supernatural item you need to fix your truck if ever you have to find one." Bulk Requiem says, "I hope I'm here for that day." After days in the desert trying to fix the damaged things in the laboratory, the day came where Professor had to go hunt for the supernatural PFT mug item. The journey, he wants Bulk Requiem to join him and Haps to try and find the PFT mug item together. Answer Professor Walterson. Haps and Bulk Requiem were on their journey to find the item that will help the laboratory recover and the truck fixed. Superpowers that has undeniable solutions is somewhere out there waiting for a superhero to get a hold of it. While on their way, halfway to their destination, Bulk Requiem says a verse to Professor and Haps on the road. A verse titled Superpowers.
Superpower of full and free supply. Superpower focus for my grinding mind. Power overdoses robbing all time. Power buyers struggling with regular supplies. Superpower finder in the pandemic getting wider. Power lover demonstrator proving to provider. Power gonna put $1 for her and mother. Superpower star soldier, superstar raider. produit variable, un grand produit variable, minimum très bon, produit variable, billard les produits variables, minimum variable, variable variable, billard est très grand, variable, maximum billard est variable, très variable, un bon produit variable, billard est maximum, billard est très variable, nombre de mecs désirant entrer léger, déraisonnablement, entrer dans l'entreprendre, sans avoir un plan, c'est malheureux, malheureusement, les rabgés laissent plaisir sans pitié. Mauvais garçon est là, en léger, c'est manger, change la destin, parce que tu vas être dernier au jeu. Je suis puissant, suprême, qui règle. C'est un produit variable, un grand produit variable, minimum très bon produit variable, billard les produits variables, minimum variable, variable variable, billard est très grand variable, maximum billard est variable, très variable, un bon produit variable, billard est maximum, billard est très variable, nombre de mecs désirant entrer léger, déraisonnablement, entrer dans l'entreprendre, sans avoir un plan, c'est malheureux, malheureusement. C'est un produit variable, un grand produit variable, minimum très bon produit variable, billard les produits variables, minimum variable, variable variable, billard est très grand variable, maximum billard est variable, très variable, un bon produit variable, billard est maximum, billard est très variable, nombre de mecs désirant entrer léger, déraisonnablement, entrer dans l'entreprendre, sans avoir un plan, c'est malheureux, malheureusement, les rabgés laissent plaisir sans pitié. Mauvais garçon est là, en léger, c'est manger, change la destin, parce que tu vas être dernier au jeu. Je suis puissant, suprême, qui règle.